Hello everyone and welcome again to SkateProud chat. Today we're gonna have Jorik Hendrickx, Olympic figure skater from Belgium. And I'm so excited because I know Jorik for a long time as well and is a good friend of mine. We've been to many competitions together and him to join and it's connecting. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. Yeah, this was easy. I was a bit scared that how this life, Insta life works because
Yeah.
it's the first time. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Nice haircut. Were you able to get it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I'm like desperate, kind of like don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, how's it going over there?
Actually, Belgium is doing really well now. Also, consider the situation, the COVID-19. We're doing better now in Belgium, and also the ice rinks are open again.
All of
Uh,
them. Like normal, yeah.
Well, in the summer, we never have a lot of ice rinks open. So the two who are supposed to open, they're already open.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool. Yeah.
yeah. So
And are you guys with the special measurements and all that?
yeah, it's we have to clean, wash hands, and there are designated lines to go in and out. And one session is finished, you have to leave and then clear the ice rink, and they um, they clean the whole boarding and stuff. So they're trying to really do their best to make it safe.
That's nice. Yeah, well, at least you guys are like back into training and like getting ready for whatever the season is going to look like. Nobody knows. Yeah. But yeah, at least you guys are like keeping in, you're training your skaters and yeah, because right now you're like coaching your sister and like an elite group of skaters from Belgium, and yeah, so a long way to go to this upcoming season with the supposed to be the qualifying season for the Olympics.
Indeed, yeah. Actually, I'm located in the Netherlands in a club right now because 1 year ago they shut down the ice rink I always trained in, and also my sister. And the closest ice rink where we could get the good facilities was in Tilburg in the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm working with a lot of Dutch skaters as well. It's a combination of Belgian and Dutch skaters.
Okay.
So that's fun to mingle and to motivate them.
Yeah, of course. So Jorik, tell us how many times have you been national champion for the past years?
Uh, Actually, I can't recall, but I think only 3 times, like senior national champion, because I was the only skater for Belgium, so I was never really motivated, and it never really fitted in my schedule as well. And you also mentioned, I think in previous live chats, like nationals in small countries,
Yeah, in
they're
Europe
nothing.
it's not like in the United States for sure. That's what I was talking yesterday with Jeremy about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're saying you did not do all your national championships? You did not compete at all of them?
No, actually, I think I did 4 senior national championships and I won 3 of them. Um, Also because I preferred then an international event and skate well there, collect ISU world ranking points instead of
Exactly.
focusing on nationals. And I was also a skater. I needed to focus and like get ready, do a practice up front. And at our Belgium nationals, we never had practice before. So it was just go on the ice, do your short program or free program. And I like
Yeah,
to,
I
yeah.
I feel you. It's the same
Mm,
for us. I don't I did not like that either. Yeah.
mm.
So, but yeah, you've been at the really top of Europeans. You've competed at 2 Olympics, Sochi and Pyeongchang, and then you decided to retire after Pyeongchang, and you're coaching now. That's
Indeed.
the way.
That's my life.
That's your life right now. Yeah. But yeah, so getting to the point, um, I want to talk about the transition between Sochi and Pyeongchang and how did your life change in all the aspects. So you improved a lot when it comes to the figure skating competitions, and but at the same time you changed a lot, and you grow a lot in your personal life, and got a boyfriend that you're still with, and then competed in the next Olympics as an openly gay figure skater.
Mhm.
And you told your story very recent, right at the Olympics or right before. And there is a story behind that that I would like you to tell us. So, what was that motivated you to talk about it and to be open? What happened in that period of your life?
Um, so let's start with the Olympics 2014. I was still accepting myself. I was still dealing with my sexuality on a positive way. I was embracing it. I was trying to explore who I was. So in 2014, I didn't really feel secure or confident enough to make a statement. There were a lot of um, yeah, there was a lot of pressure on athletes who were of our community to make a statement because at the Sochi Olympics in Russia, you were also there. So at that moment, I was not comfortable enough. But then leading to the next Olympics, I was out and proud with my family and friends, or actually, I thought my whole family knew, but that's the story I will come back later. So actually, I did a few interviews. I tried to promote and the LGBTQ plus community. I tried to be involved. I did a few interviews. Uh, but in 2017, November, um, I got a boyfriend and I was proud and the relationship really worked. So I thought this is the right moment to introduce my very first boyfriend to my parents. And actually, I think that was around Christmas, New Year. Um, and so I told my mom in 2013 that I was struggling with my sexuality.
In 2002?
And
Yeah.
2013 already. So I told my mom, um, and actually, I think the day later I left to America to train there. And afterwards, we never really discussed it again. But she knew, and there were a few jokes. Um, so
So
I
it
thought,
was, you were comfortable with her, you were fine after that conversation, you didn't really need to talk more about it.
yeah, I think there was never really a moment where we sat down again and talked about the situation, maybe also avoiding the situation a little
Okay.
bit, but not on a negative way because my mom, she embraced it. And uh, for the record, my mom and dad, they're still together. Um, but I felt comfortable to talk to my mom first because we really have a strong relationship. And so one of her, so she said to me like, "Oh, it's fine," and because she's just said like because I was struggling, she felt sorry for me because she said, "Hey, I hope you will find yourself soon." But then the day later, I left to America. And then afterwards, I was really focused on my figure skating career and never like going out to parties. Or I never really tried to start a relationship while I was competing. Um,
It was
so in
accepting phase, let's say. You were
Yes,
accepting
and yeah.
yourself, realizing it, and opening up to your closest circle, your
Mhm.
family, and some friends for sure.
Yeah. So actually, one of the things my mom said, like, before you leave to America, I want you to tell another person because then she could also talk about the situation with that person to also help her to process this.
And that
Um,
person was
my coach.
okay.
So actually, the day before I left to America, I went to my coach And I told her that I was gay, and or like at least I was struggling and trying to find myself. But the funniest thing was that she thought I would tell her that I would leave her and that I would stay in America, because I said to her, we need to have a conversation. I need to tell you something serious.
And
And
that's
that
what
was
she
right.
thought. Yeah.
And so she came to me and she was very nervous because she thought I was telling her that I was leaving and moving to America to train there. So actually, it was a very funny situation when I told her, and she said, "Yeah, it's fine." She said, "Oh, I'm so relieved that it's just this, because I thought you were leaving me and you were moving to the US to train." And she was very accepting. She was very accepted.
So I will
Yeah.
say it was a very smart move from your mom to
Mhm.
do that. Like I thinking about it, your coach, you have a really close relationship. You spend so much time with them, and it was very important to have that conversation.
Mhm. Yeah, at the end, I also thought it's because you know it for yourself. It's a process to accept yourself, and you also need to give the people around you also time to process this. Even though it's not a big deal, being gay or
Is
lesbian
the
or whatever,
problem? The
it's not a
problem
big
comes
thing,
from
but
like,
it's
yeah.
still, yeah, it's still a mindset. And for parents also the future. So actually, when I came back, I mean, my sister, she knew, and so my mom, she had a conversation with many others, and I was fine with that. And so I thought with my dad as well that they had a very serious conversation.
And this
Um,
you're talking in 2013 with your mom.
13, yeah. So, and after, like, I was very focused on getting to that 2014 Olympics, and actually a little bit in an isolation as well, because figure skating is very unpopular in Belgium. So I didn't really have any training mates to spend time. So it was me and my coach on the ice. I was working out, I was skating. It was not like I had a big training group with who I could do other stuff in my free time. No, I really was focused on skating, school. Um, so, and I didn't feel the need to talk more about this topic. I thought it was just my journey, and step by step. And then it led to finding a boyfriend, which actually I was not looking for. It happened, it just happened. And I felt very good with him. And immediately I was very serious about this. And I mean, 2.5 years later, we're still together. So I felt this instant that it felt right. So I think around Christmas, New Year 2018, I introduced my boyfriend to my mom, my dad, um,
So
and
you did not, let me stop you right there. You did
yeah,
not have a conversation with your dad since
I
2013
personally
till,
never sat down on a table and said to my dad before that, like,
yeah,
Dad, I'm gay.
yeah.
I suppose he knew because he made silly jokes like this jacket is for you, or which was more a female model, or um, like making these silly jokes, and I could laugh about it. And but then I think for him it was a little bit of shock that there was this boyfriend, and
That you
then he
came home
said
with a boyfriend. Yeah.
with a boyfriend, and actually in my language, because before the Christmas party, New Year's party, I introduced him already, but in my language, in Dutch, boyfriend is the same as friend. So I said to my dad, "This is my friend." And I meant boyfriend, and he said he gave a hand, and it was fine. And so my mom said, "Oh, yeah, well, this went very well. So let him come in 10 days
Oh
to
my God.
our New Year's party." So that was a bit miscommunication because friend and boyfriend means the same in my language. So I thought, well, my dad, oh yeah. So actually, he doesn't give a poop, and so it felt like it was fine, and I was also in the middle of a renovation of my apartment I bought, and he was still like very positive and giving advice in that period between I introduced my boyfriend and this dinner party. um, but
Let's
then
say
actually
my
when
friend is the one who is living with me.
well, yeah. So I introduced him, and then at this dinner party, I think he was a bit shocked because then he realized, oh, it's not just a friend, it's a boyfriend. And I think for him, in his head, something gave an error, even though um, I mean, my dad and I are really fine now, but at that moment, it was not the easiest period for myself as well because my dad was not embracing it at that moment. Um, and also, our relationship was not very good at that period.
And we're
Also,
talking this happened in a very important year, season. It was 2017, 2018, right before
mhm.
the Olympics or even Europeans, right?
Yeah, actually, it happened 3 weeks before Europeans, um, and that Europeans didn't go very well. Also, considered I was still emotionally dealing with a lot of stuff, and maybe I wasn't focused on skating that much, and it was very important to be focused. So I had a very good conversation with my dad. Actually, my two brothers were there, my sister, my mom, and they were all supporting me. And I told my dad at that point, like, Dad, I mean, I have my life, I can continue with or without you. And I understand that you need time to to deal with this on your own way because I had to deal with this for a very long period to accept myself. Um, and so I give him the opportunity to rethink and just give it time. And then, even though it was not working out, then it didn't work out. But to give each other a little bit more space. And also, my dad at that time, he thought, like, with a boyfriend, it's official. And what will my friends think? And I come from a very small town on the countryside. Um, where the whole community, our community, is not so visible. So I mean, now I live in a different city, Antwerp, where gay rights and the whole LGBTQ community is big and supportive. And I mean, it's a normality to see same-sex couples on the street and their gay bars. But where I live and where my parents come from, it's a little bit small, and um, I think people think more in stereotypes as well. Um, but so, I mean, right before, I think 1 or 2 weeks before Europeans, we sat down, we gave each other space, we gave each other time to think. And I think that was enough. And also, my dad, I gave him time because I I think you need your surrounding also need to accept it in some way, and you need to give them time. Um, and also, now my dad and I were really fine. He's also fine with my boyfriend. He helped my boyfriend with a few renovation projects. So actually, our relationship now is better than before. So, um, but at that point, I realized we need more visibility. We still need more visibility. And I never felt eager to stand out or to make a statement. Um, and so at the Olympic Games in 2018, I had the opportunity to make a statement, to give an interview. Actually, also because they found an older article where I was speaking proud about my sexuality, a small article, and then they blew it up. Like right at the Olympics, they wanted to make a statement or they want to interview me about this topic. And actually, this article was already from 2 or 3 months before, but it was a small article. And then I really had to think twice because for me, being at the Olympics, it doesn't matter if you're straight, if you're gay, if you're black or white. For me, it's all about sports, and we work so hard to be at this event. We train so many years, we put so much effort. So for me, it was really, I had to consider it like, do I want to draw this attention to my sexuality or me as a sportsman? Um, so I thought, no, I think it's a great platform. I think at the Olympics you have a voice. So I said, like at the beginning of the Olympics, I said, let's do this interview. Let let's talk about this, and then it's finished. And then it's me as an athlete. And I think the Belgian press, they were so good with this. They were so supportive. They
Yeah.
made an article. They also said, like, I'm out and proud. I want to do this because I want to inspire the new generation. And now it's done. And now we continue to Jorik Hendrickx as a figure skater, and we focus on my performances.
You said it perfectly, and it's like very inspiring how all happened and how you feel the way it was. So going to your family process, coming out to them, to your smallest circle, you will say today that was a positive experience. That of course is not all the stories are like amazing and like going to your family and like, oh, it's all perfect. No, some people go through a process, and that's what happened with your dad. But nowadays you probably are closest, as you said, and you have a really good relationship, better than ever. Then your story at the Olympics, as you were saying, it is remarkable that you were like telling your story but really wanted to focus attention on what you are as an athlete and what you've been working really hard for all these past years. But as you said, it is also important to tell your story and talk about it because, as you said, you've struggled through different periods, and it was something that you could inspire other athletes as well. And telling your story right now is a very good example of a good outcome, of a good experience overall. And yeah, it's great that you had a good experience in the end, and you feel confident, you're comfortable with your family, your friends, and you're open about it publicly, and it's a growing experience, just
Mhm. Yeah,
basically.
I think just the timing was probably not the right timing, like leading up to Europeans, Olympics. But I think everything happens for a reason. And if I didn't find my boyfriend, if I didn't have this situation that my dad needed more time, then probably I wouldn't have done this interview at the Olympics. So I think everything happens for a reason. And
Exactly.
actually, I was also a little bit relieved that it was over and now it was public and it's fine. And I was already open and proud. But now it was like everybody knew, and let's continue.
So it is true, there's different factors. Having a boyfriend, it helped you even more to accept yourself and normalize things and be proud about it and be like comfortable to come to your family, introduce it to them, and as well to be open about it publicly. And yeah, it's about growing, it's about your personal life, but it's also about a very important experience that you've been living through, struggle through. And yeah, thank you for telling the story to us and sharing it. There's some questions here from people. So basically it comes to the, how is your situation right now as a coach? What did change how did your life change from a competitor figure skater into a coaching life, and also coaching your sister? How is all this new life, this new experience?
Mm. So for a moment, I thought like, oh, I have freedom. I'm not this athlete. I don't have to watch my food, my diet. I can go out. I can party. But actually, I went from one extreme, like devoting myself to figure skating as an athlete. It quickly changed to devoting myself like 200% in this coaching role. Also, we have early mornings, so. Um, but I think the big change is that I try to find balance also with friends, with family. Like my spare time now, I can still spend energy in this. And when I was an athlete, I really needed this time to rest.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a good thing that I try to find balance because I have more time I can spend. But it's still, yeah, figure skating, we don't have the ideal hours to work. So it's early in the morning or late at night. So social life is still struggling a
Yeah.
little bit, trying to deal with this. Um, and I had to be honest, like I said, figure skating is a very small sport in Belgium, the Netherlands. So I didn't have a lot of training mates. I didn't have a lot of social life. So when I was done with skating, I was actually glad that I had my boyfriend and his whole network of friends that and they embraced me and I was welcome. And it was just great to feel so much love outside sport as well. And I
Yeah.
have great friends in the skating world. But it's also good to see this other side of life. Um,
So
but
yeah, you, as you said, with the skating, when you're competitive skater, you are so focused, you don't really have another life than that. And yeah, it is, right now you are experiencing the real life, the real world, and you're able to enjoy a little more, although you're still really focused coaching. Um, but yeah, how is so as you said, Belgium, it's really, it's there's not many athletes doing figure skating, and there's not that many rinks. What what's your, and there is not many boys either,
no,
even less.
actually, I think
So
after I
there's
retired, no one competed at
not
European
another
Worlds.
Jorik coming
Uh,
at the
Not
moment.
yet. They still have to develop. We have a few small kids, but it's still a
Yeah.
long way to get to
So
the top.
yeah, well, you have a lot of work to do then, and I'm sure you're pushing hard to have more skaters in the Belgian team. And yeah, well, I think it was a very interesting conversation, and a very important chat that we all learned about your story, and how not every story is the same. And in your case, you had struggle in your personal life, in your closest circle, but at the end you had a good experience, a positive experience out of everything, and it made you be closer to your family than ever. And also, you at the Olympics, you were feeling yourself, you were being out and feeling free about it, you were comfortable, you with your interview, and it probably made you release and refocus on your competition.
Mhm.
So yeah, if you want to say anything to the people who's watching, in my side, I want to say to you, thank you very much, Jorik, for your time and your story, and sharing here, and supporting SkateProud. That is a community of all of us, the skaters, and it's very important that we are together in this.
Yeah, I think this is a great opportunity and to share everyone's story. But for me, I was a bit nervous at the beginning because I like to be prepared. Like I was in figure skating, I needed enough hours to practice and prepared. So I asked you, do we have to prepare questions or whatever? Because I like to be ready. And yeah, this platform, I think we also need to provide content. And I think sharing my story and that sometimes your family members need time, but hopefully at the end, they accept you anyway who you are. So my advice would be proud, take your time to accept yourself, and then if they don't accept you for who you are, then it's a loss for them. Um, and I'm very glad that you invited me to share my story. And
Of
I hope
course.
we see each other soon somewhere. So
Yeah, hopefully. And there is many more things we want to work on with Escape Proud. A lot of things we as a community need to improve, need to help and change in figure skating. There's a lot of things that's still happening, and we need to make sure we support each other and we are, you know, like making a positive change for this sport for the future generations. And you are role model, a clear example for other younger athletes. And I'm sure with your story, they will come the platform, listen, and learn that, you know, they are not alone and that they have our support. Yeah, so Jorik, thank you very much. And
my
exactly, I hope
pleasure.
to see you soon. I don't know when. I'll come to Antwerp or something in the
Yes.
future, but yeah.
Well, I always have a bed for you ready in my guest room, so more than
Amazing.
welcome.
We'll do a skating camp or something.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
take
ciao.
care.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.